Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 1990 Mazda Miata. Up front is a 1.6 liter inline 4 and down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this Miata because I used to own one. I loved it so dearly and it's always good to be back in the seat of a Miata. I was excited to share this one with you today and you could probably visually see why. But let's get back to that 1.6 liter, making low hundreds of horsepower. This car is not a heavy horsepower vehicle. That's not really the point of the Miata. That's not why you buy a Miata. It's a very buzzy, very fun engine. It might not pack the biggest punch on God's green earth, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't need to. Now, like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed manual. You could get these with 4-speed automatics or the 5-speed manual, but they didn't offer the 6-speed until the second generation NB. And even at that, they were a little hesitant to give it to you until really the third gen. It's like racking a rifle. It's so exact and right. It's hard to find a better shifter than what you find in a Mazda Miata. Last but not least about the drivetrain, of course, the Miata is rear-wheel drive, and some came with limited slip differentials. I don't believe this one has one, but just something of note. So how's it feel to actually drive the Miata? It's the best driving experience you can have for under $10,000. It's light, it's chuckable, it's predictable, and it's just happy to be here. It doesn't need to throw horsepower at the problem. It doesn't need to throw cylinder numbers at you. It's just here to have fun and skip along as happy as you might be. So I love the driving feel of the Miata. I will always go back to the Miata for having such a superior feel, and that's no different here in the 1990. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 5 gauges. Off to the left is my fuel and tachometer. In the center is my oil pressure, which just is an actual oil pressure gauge. Later Miatas just had an on-off switch, low-high. This actually will read it to you. And off to the right, I have my speedometer and coolant temperature. The steering wheel does have a big pillowy airbag and 2 little horn buttons. I love that. And off to the left, I have a climate control vent and my cruise control, as well as my gauge dimmer switch. Moving out of the door, we just have the latch to get in and out. No window switches over here. And then moving into the center, we have 2 climate control vents, hazard switch and headlight switch to pop up and down those headlights. Love that. Then we do have an aftermarket radio, because radios from this era were pretty terrible. You gotta swap those out. Then we come down to the shifter. Now this is not the factory shift boot. However, it's very, very close to what the factory shift boot was. And I love the shift knob, plain, simple, straight to the point. No fluff, no guff, no coconuts here. And I love that. Then we have 2 cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the 1990 Mazda Miata. And unfortunately, it fails. I didn't think it would pass. No Miata ever has passed, so the 1990 is right in line. Then we have our power window buttons. Very nice feature here in the 1990 Miata. Tiny center console where you'll find your gas cap release. And then we'll talk about the seats. The seats are cloth, but they are comfortable. I've done many, many miles in seats just like this, and my back never hurt. This car is relatively big guy friendly. I'm 5'11", and I fit in here pretty well. The biggest issue is going to be if you have big legs, fitting it around the steering wheel. So if you really want a Miata and you have big legs, get an aftermarket detachable steering wheel. You're going to be a lot happier. Now, we don't have any back seats, but we will hop out and do a trunk review. Right around the back of the Mazda Miata, little keyhole here, and pop it up just like that. Now, I actually went on several weekend trips with my personal Miata, and I fit all my stuff back here. The only downside is this. The spare tire does take up quite a bit of the trunk, just in terms of overall real estate. So what I actually ended up doing on my personal car, I took that out and I bolted it to the top of the trunk. Now, I don't recommend that you do that, but it does open up a lot more space if you don't have a spare tire. Other than that, nothing too crazy back here, but definitely a decent amount of space for a little roadster, a little weekend getaway. I think you'll be fine. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I don't think it becomes any more iconic when it comes to sports cars as the first generation Mazda Miata. The flip-up headlights, the pill-shaped taillights, it just doesn't get any better. This car is iconic, it's beautiful, And it was actually designed here in California. So it was actually designed by the Mazda American team. This car is so JDM and Japanese and whatnot, but it was actually designed here, which I always find fascinating. However, with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving yet another 1990 Mazda Miata? Well, part of the reason I wanted to do this video was to do a full review in retro style. I normally add a clip or two and a couple of older car videos to give you that feel, but I really wanted to hit a home run in the nostalgia category, so I wanted to do that with a car that I've already filmed before. If you're very curious and want to see high definition footage of Miatas, I have plenty of it on my channel. But the reason I felt so comfortable doing the nostalgia video on this car is because, like I mentioned, I used to own one. And so getting back behind the wheel, it's a little bit of a homecoming, a little bit of what used to be. I remember many days driving in this kind of weather with the top down. I remember taking it to work. I remember so much of my life was spent in this position, and now driving one again, nothing is past, nothing has changed. It's right where it used to be. It's like that certain candle or pine cone that your mom sets out around Halloween, and just the smell alone brings you right back. It's the white linoleum floors of a Kmart. It's the crunchy fabric of your grandma's couch. And then, you can really lit on it. And it's here to fight the good fight. When I owned a Miata, it brought so much joy to my life. And yeah, am I looking back on my ownership of the Miata with rose-colored glasses? Of course. My top leaked 24/7. The car smelled like mildew every time I got into it. The alternator crapped out on me one day, randomly. The radio stopped working and would pop out of its socket. I don't miss those things. Memory is such a funny thing that when looking back, I don't remember that. I don't remember all of its downsides. I only remember the good sides. And now driving one again, I'm being reminded of what those good sides were and still are. And it begs the question, do you really miss the old you? Or do you just think that you miss the old you? So here today, I get to reclaim my smile. Just for a moment. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Jacob for letting me take out his Mazda Miata, his 1990, with only 84,000 miles. Such a clean, original example. Jacob's been absolutely awesome to work with. I can't thank him enough for allowing me to express my artistic vision of doing a completely retro review. He's awesome, and I appreciate him putting a smile back on my face. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.